Hey guys, welcome to Smart Women Read Romance, a book review podcast where we fangirl over all things romance. I'm Juliette.
And I'm Jessen.
And today we'll be reviewing Parental Guidance, the first book in Avery Flynn's new Ice Knight series. But before we dive in, please go ahead and make sure you subscribe to the podcast on your preferred podcast platform. And please rate and review us. Jessen and I love getting feedback from our listeners, so follow us on our social media pages at SWReadRom. If you're looking for some extras, join our Patreon for access to exclusive giveaways, a look behind the scenes of our episodes, and exclusive content, including monthly videos for featuring Q&As and some fun games, and just us being total dorks.
Yeah.
Really, that's what it's all about. So, special shout out to our patrons, though, you guys. We really are thankful and appreciate your support. So, before we get into Avery Flynn's new book, let's chit-chat. What's going on?
I love chit-chat. I miss chit-chat.
I know.
It's been a while. I mean,
know.
this is actually our first recording since our break that happened a couple weeks ago, technically, on the podcast.
I know.
But whatever.
It feels like,
it's like, hi.
Oh my gosh, hey, I know
you.
I miss you too so much, even though we talk like every day.
We do. But it's different being in person, and then talking about books. It's just become such a part of my life now that I'm like, I feel like something's missing if I don't have a podcast at least once a week. So.
Exactly.
But anyway, so I was just thinking about the other day I posted on our closed Facebook group, The Swoon Zone, just talking about Keanu Reeves and just how much 2019 is obsessed with Keanu Reeves.
Yeah,
it's like the year.
He
owns this year.
Like forever.
Yeah, Juliette was battling me on Facebook saying, I've been loving him for longer than you. And I'm just saying, you know. Biatch, I fucking know.
I know I'm old, but this is where I beat you.
I'm like, Keanu Reeves is not a new entity to me, but I'm in love with how in love the internet is with him. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I see him all over, and people are just like, Keanu is, this blessing for us, and just like sweet baby Jesus.
Oh my God.
His interview with puppies all around him,
and when he talked about being lonely and how he'd love to find the right woman,
and I'm just like, I'm here, Keanu.
Jessen needs you. I'm happily married, but Jessen could totally
I won't be with you. It's fine.
I won't make
No,
you
seriously.
not love me.
I think that he's such a sweet baby angel. Like, he's too pure for this world.
He's so zen, and he's just so like kind and caring.
Yes.
And, oh my God.
Yes.
Yeah. Like when you read like his whole like biography and stuff, he's an amazing guy. And there's this other thing that's going on. Like the fandom of Star Wars is freaking the fuck out. Because they're all wanting, because Star Wars is, they've already announced there's like a series of movies they want to start doing,
I feel
for
like
their
this
franchise
is news to
or whatever.
me. I'm like listening rapidly. What?
Okay, you're gonna die. They all want him to be this specific Sith called Darth Draven. Okay,
Yes.
And they've even like done illustrations of Keanu
Oh
with
my
in
God,
the
I
whole
love
Sith
that.
Lord get up, and I'm like, oh my God,
Does
so
he
hot.
look fabulous?
What? we're already in love with Kylo Ren. So
Yeah, of course. We're
the bad guy.
Ren, stans. But you know what's so funny too? I was listening to one of the YouTube channels that I like, Fandom Entertainment. They were talking about how every Marvel Cinematic Universe movie that they make, they like offer a part to Keanu Reeves.
No way.
But then they've also said we haven't had like the perfect role for him either. But like everyone wants him to be in their movies. He's
just amazing.
I don't know. I just love him, and
he's broody and dark and all.
But I
those
have
things.
to say, obviously, John Wick is probably the best fitting franchise for him since The Matrix. So.
Yeah, though I loved him as Neo. Specifically, the first one is like my favorite.
I mean, I really don't watch the other ones because they're The first one though, the first one
was to die for,
life changing.
Yes.
But anyway,
absolutely.
Have we talked about Keanu enough? Do you know how we love him?
Keanu.
Do we know?
Whoa. That's all I gotta say.
Are we obsessed?
Big quote with him. Whoa.
So anyway, I guess we can get into this breakdown. I mean, the purpose of this podcast is to talk about books.
Parental guidance, guys.
All right, Juliette is going to start us off and tell us just a little bit about this book.
Okay, Parental Guidance is a dual POV hockey romance with the increasingly popular dating app theme. These are so much fun, and I love Avery Flynn's twist on it. The parents choose the person that they will date. Very clever.
So fun.
Yes. A fake relationship seems like the perfect solution to both of our MC's problems. It's a means to an end, but what happens when the lines between fake and real feelings begin to blur?
I don't know. Maybe it's love.
I don't know. Does love happen? Is that when love happens?
I really enjoyed this book, and we've talked about it in our like pet peeves and stuff, like flaws and heroines and stuff. And I feel like it's a trend now to have a little bit more feisty heroines.
Definitely.
Or at least unapologetic for whenever they everyone turns into a bitch for a little while. I have my bitch moments, and
we all do.
I enjoy it whenever these heroines are, they're sassy and sarcastic and maybe
like, this is
not,
me,
they don't want to socialize today.
Right.
And I feel like that's what we get in Avery Flynn's Parental Guidance. I really enjoyed this character. I like these temperaments.
Agreed.
And it's just so fun.
Yeah. And for me, my favorite part of the book is the hero, Caleb.
He's fun. And as much as Juliette loves her claiming scenes and her alpha protective guys who are just like over the top masculine and stuff, I really like Caleb. He's vulnerable.
Absolutely. And he is adorable. Exactly. It's like you said, these vulnerable heroes are sweethearts, and they have these hearts of gold. And
I equally
just love
vulnerable
that.
heroes
too.
as much
Me
as I
too.
love the alpha ones.
I do too. As much as I talk
don't
about
discriminate.
it.
I like them all.
And that doesn't mean he can't be badass in bed either.
Oh, yeah,
so just
exactly.
saying.
Hell yeah. Okay, so let's talk about our two main characters, and then we're going to get into the breakdown after that.
Yep.
So we have our hero, Caleb Stuckey. He is a hockey player who made the big mistake of being recorded participating in locker room talk. He has to clean up his image, guys, and the solution that his team PR manager comes up with is for him to participate in the wholesome dating app called Bramble, where the parents pick your match, which I find that fascinating.
I did too.
Like,
this
how
is very original.
Yes,
I
like it. Then we have Zara Ambrose, and she is a known workaholic. She's actually a miniature creator or artist. I love that.
That is so cool.
So
I love that.
And her friend Gemma, she's determined that Zara needs to have outside interests besides her work. And she only agrees to it to help her dad, who is the consummate dreamer. He wants to get his SAG card. And she also wants tickets to a gala that will launch her miniature artist career if she catches the eye of Mrs. Carlisle. So intrigue. I just enjoyed the premise of this book. It's just it pulled me in. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I was
hooked.
Summary.
I was hooked right away with the premise. I'm like, this is very original.
Yeah,
I'm
like
down for it.
I just like it. Okay, we're gonna get into the breakdown because I want to like spoil stuff. I want to spoil stuff, and I'm ready for my showdown scene.
Oh,
like so
God.
so
okay,
ready.
Here we go. All right, guys.
Entering spoiler section, guys.
All right, here we are in the spoilers section. Showdown, Jessen.
Yeah,
you
I'm
go
ready.
first.
Okay. This is my showdown scene.
Yeah,
I have a scene that's not particularly focused on the main characters.
Okay.
My showdown scene is actually the first interview.
No way.
Yes.
That was going to be mine, but
Did
I
you
have a
switch
backup. I have a backup. That was
Okay.
going to be mine, but I have a backup.
Well, the first interview after their first meeting date is fucking hilarious. I
so
died.
Funny. It is so
and
funny.
it's because of the parents. It's because of the parents. So Caleb, his mom, she is like the hard ass. They call her Brittany the ball buster. She's a high school hockey coach, and she like takes no prisoners.
Right.
And I just like picture her as this like rough and gruff person, just like means business.
Right.
And then we have Zara's dad, who's legit the like. He is just not of this world.
Soft.
He's not of this world.
Yeah.
No, but so he's like a dreamer, and he always has like a new plan, not to get rich quick, but just like for success,
like a scheme
this
or
is going to be
plan.
my
Like
big
this
break.
is going to be this is
going to be wonderful for
yes,
us.
Yes,
let's invest all my money in it.
Yeah.
So that's what Zara's dealing with, her dad, but he's also very likable, and she says that a lot. Like he's actually
everybody
very
loves
nice.
him. Yes, everybody loves my dad.
He'll give the shirt off his back for somebody else. Like he's a likable human being.
He's a caring person.
Doesn't think about long-term effects all the time. Well, they're sitting down, and so there's a scene between the two parents where like where Caleb's mom is like, oh, she would be lucky to be with my son, or like, of course, why wouldn't she be interested in a second date with my son? Look at him.
Yeah.
And Zara's dad just like, oh, my daughter, la la la. And then they start talking about like mistakes. Yeah, they're like, whose kid's better?
Yeah.
And then he, I think the host actually asks Zara's dad, how do you feel about your daughter going on a date with somebody who's been embroiled in this like kind of viral video,
right?
Like
this
bad
controversy.
Press? Yes, exactly. And so at first he starts off and he's like, well, I feel like everybody deserves like a second chance. Like you learn from your mistakes and stuff like that. And then he plugs a fucking mechanic shop. He's like that time I got into a fender bender and Michael's Motors or whatever fixed me right up.
He does it throughout the whole interview
so many times, and it's so hilarious.
And every time he turns and looks directly at the camera,
yes,
like
he's plugging. So he's like a walking infomercial, and I just lost it. I was like, why is this so funny? I don't know.
Remember,
he's so sincere too.
I know, he's so sincere. Like Jessen and I were, because we were both reading at the same time, and I was messaging her. I was like, "Have you gotten to the first interview yet? Can we please talk about that? Like, hurry up."
And Zara's thinking, she was like, I wouldn't be surprised if he genuinely plugged my like preschool daycare.
Yeah, my preschool.
It just honestly it just warmed my heart, and that I feel like it was a good scene too, because it honestly did show like him whenever he was being serious, but it also gave you a glimpse of like why Zara craved that stability, because she had to deal with this kind of stuff.
Exactly. And the other reason that I loved it is this is where we first see Caleb really kind of lose it. Like he is like just like snickering to himself.
Yeah.
And completely like he doesn't think it's dumb or anything. He just thinks it's so funny.
No, because she is worried about that. Like she's like, how does
and he has a good
look
sense of humor.
To everybody else.
Right. And so I just really like that. This is where we get a little bit of a glimpse of Caleb's like sweet side too, you know?
He's a sweetheart.
Okay, so that was a good one. Okay. Mine's a smexy one.
Ooh, hot.
Go figure. Okay, so
it is hot
so for the premise of the book, this is a fake relationship, guys. So, but they happen to start texting each other when he's out of town a lot. All right. And one of the times, this isn't my showdown scene, but one of the times he's talking to her and he just props the phone up and he kind of goes and takes off his shirt, and then he comes back to talk to her, and the whole time she's like, don't stare, don't let him see you staring, like at his body the whole time. So they just have a conversation and it ends. But not long after that, they have another conversation, and it turns this fake relationship goes way. He starts teasing her, and he takes off his shirt, and they're just chit chatting. He's like, yeah, no, I'm just getting comfortable. You know, I'm getting, but he's showing off his washboard abs, his perfect like broad chest. Yes. And so she's like, oh, and so she kind of pulls her shirt tight against her, and it's just this super sexy scene.
Like this play,
and they're both sort of playing games with each other, but at the same time, both of them are like, this is obviously not fake. I mean, they're turned on by each other.
Yeah, absolutely. And, Zara has lady cobwebs down there, as she likes to say.
She's them cleaned out.
She's excited about excited about this.
I like the way he cleans them out, too.
Oh, my God. So, no, it's hot.
Yeah,
it's hot.
And this is where we really see sexy
Caleb.
Stuff. Yeah. I do. I love these moments. This is where they're really bonding when he's out of town. And,
and I kind of like that, too, because it kind of gives them a break. First of all, it prolongs their dating because they have 5 dates.
They only have 5 dates, right.
And him actually being gone for the preseason games and not being in town, and once they start texting, and then texting turns into FaceTiming, and it just gives them a opportunity to explore the more sexual side of their relationship, because 5 dates is like nothing, and also to just get to know each other. So I really enjoyed all the FaceTime scenes, but definitely the ones where the heat really level goes each other.
Yes,
the heat level goes way up,
super
and it's
sexy.
Hot, so
nice.
I did also enjoy that.
Yes, very much.
Woo! All right, so those are our showdown scenes, and
so
now
let's
we're
get
going
into
to
the breakdown. Let's go, Jess.
Okay, so it starts with Caleb's big mistake. And this is what happened. He got into an Uber. They were all drinking. He and like some other, first string or whatever. Not first string. Is first string hockey? I always feel like I'm using the wrong words.
And
for
some
hockey.
Douchebags videoing this. Is it the Uber guy? Like I never even figured out who was videoing.
So it's pretty much just like they're like ragging on the coaches, like everything. And
the team.
But one thing that really just it's the nail in the coffin. They talk about puck bunnies, which which is so fun because like I just recently in the past like 2 years started getting into hockey romances, and like puck bunny is like basically, you know, they're groupies,
right?
But it's a derogatory term,
obviously.
You know, it's they're little groupies, and they don't want nothing more than to have sex with you and maybe have a hockey boyfriend. So that goes viral, and Caleb's image needs to be cleaned up after that. And since he is a senior member of the team, he should have known better, and he should have stopped it. And that's their point, is like, you should have nipped this in the bud instead of let this go on and, you know, kind of agreeing with them.
Yeah, it's a PR nightmare, and he should have shown the leadership, you know, as like you said. So now he has to fix it. His
mom walks in. His mom, Brittany Stuckey, Britt the Ballbuster. She's a high school hockey coach, and she's called into the meeting with the Ice Knight's coach and the PR manager. And I really like that Avery Flynn does a bad lip reading reference, because I used to watch them all the time, especially whenever Walking Dead was in like its peak and I used to still watch it. I loved their bad lip reading stuff.
I love the ones for Twilight. Have you seen the ones for Twilight?
I've seen them.
Oh my
God,
they're so funny.
It's just amazing. So I was just laughing to myself imagining this bad lip reading of like these idiot hockey players just like running their mouths. And so that was just fun. And there's a little bit of tension between Caleb and his mom, because whenever they're talking about like Caleb's being kind of reprimanded, like you're so stupid or whatever, like why would you do this? And he thinks to himself, it was fucking exhausting trying to meet Brittany Stuckey's expectations. And so I was like, ooh, what's going on with this relationship? Definitely. I really like the parent dynamics between both of the main characters, but Caleb and his mom, it's very interesting. So this is the fix for his image. They suggest that Caleb's going to go on this dating app called Bramble. It's new, and they want some advertising. It would be really great if this hockey player would be like a face for their commercials. And so it's actually controlled. The participants' parents are the ones to select who you're going to be matched with. Right. And they also have a hand in picking some dates too. So I really like this influx of dating app themed romances. It's been happening a lot over the past year. Like they've been coming in.
Yeah, I agree.
And I dig it because it's like something that is actually really normal in our society today. I know a lot of people who are like married and they met through dating apps and websites and stuff like that. And also, since I've been on some dating apps, I can like understand, like a lot of them talk about just like, it's so hard wading through the people who are just there for like hookups and stuff like that, which I think this is why I really like this book, because it's the parents are really involved, and it's like arranged dating. Yeah, if anybody's like genuinely on this app, you're involving your parents, so you're not gonna be looking.
You're really looking for a partner.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I was like, that's a good way to ensure that someone's not looking for a booty call.
This isn't like Tinder or
exactly. And I also like that there's no photos for the participants. You can't see their image, and I like that in theory, because in real life, I'd be like, but you don't have a photo. I can't go.
Yeah, no, like seriously.
But in the book, I thought that it was top
shorter
notch.
Than me.
Exactly.
And,
I know. I'm so. What's it called whenever you discriminate against height? Because I am that.
I know. Because we're both tall, and it's like I can't be a short guy.
I'm so mean. Anyway, so he ultimately agrees to this funny ultimatum to save his career and, sticking point, a fellow hockey player, because they're talking about trading this other guy. Yeah, and if Caleb participates with this, then they won't trade.
They'll save
Petrov.
His teammate.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. So I'm like, Exhibit A, Caleb is a fucking nice guy, because this really seals the deal. Yeah. I think this like really seals the deal, because he doesn't want to be in public and doing all these interviews after this date, but he's doing it for his teammates.
Yeah,
so
and we kind of learned that he really hates being focused center of attention.
He really doesn't like it.
So this is sort of a sacrifice for him.
Exactly. And we get a little bit more information about Caleb and maybe where some of his vulnerability comes from.
Yes.
He tries to read what his mom's pre-made profile says about him, and we learn that Caleb has dyslexia, and he's self-conscious about it. Like, it was diagnosed later on, whenever he was like in middle school, and he's very self-conscious about it. He doesn't like to talk about it, and he's very afraid of how other people look at him, which is why he like shies away from like the spotlight, and he only feels comfortable being like the center of attention whenever he's actually on the ice.
Right. Because he says he's not focused on people out around him. He's focused on the game. Right.
Exactly. So then we have our feisty heroine, Zara, and she is a hermit-like heroine.
Little introvert.
She's honestly a lot like me, but
I know.
She's being challenged by her best friend to do something non-work focused for like once in her life. Zara's like so dedicated for her work. To her work as a miniature figurine creator. I love whenever characters have oddball jobs. I'm like, yes give me these weird ass jobs. I love it.
Very interesting.
And she is the ultimate perfectionist. Like every time she looks at her work, she's like, everyone else would look at it and be like, it's fine, but me, no, not at all. And she's the work all day. Like, this is her personality. She works all day, and then she's thinking about, would I go on girls' nights with my best friend Gemma? And then I'm in bed by 8 p.m.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, it's me.
Yeah. And her Law and Order fixation, like her routine.
Exactly, with her dog. And so she really doesn't get out a lot.
Yeah.
But why is Zara such a workaholic? And I'm so glad that you asked. Her dear old dad is somewhat of a dreamer. That's the biggest understatement that I've ever said.
Right.
This is such an interesting parent dynamic. He is the type of person, he's well liked by like the people in the neighborhood because he goes above and beyond than like what is considered neighborly.
Right.
And he also like kind of gets pulled into these like schemes of like invest in this and you'll be returned tenfold or whatever. So Zara's always had this instability as a child, and her father has always like spent their like rent money and their grocery money on all of these things. Like, oh, I got paid big, but then he bought shots for like everybody in the bar, and then so-and-so needed like a new outfit for work, so I gave her the rest of it. Right. He's that type of guy.
Basically, she was forced into like that. Right. She was forced into sort of the adult role in this relationship.
And her father is more a childlike figure.
Yes.
And so that's why she is such a workaholic. She never wants to feel like that again. And I was like, good reason. Yeah. Good reason.
Good character motivation. I agree.
Because it is stated, nothing wrong with loving to work, but it is stated that it's literally her whole world to the detriment of like all other relationships.
Yeah. of everything. Sometimes she forgets to eat, you know? She's just like, so
it's, I agree. Gemma's like trying to get her out there. And, but as any night where you and your friend are drunk on tequila, Zara caves to Gemma. Her peer pressure is just like, sign up for this thing called Bramble and, you know, it'll be great.
Yeah. So the Bramble app for Zara is, to her, a means to an end, because Gemma says, look, I have this galas coming up where this very important figure, Mrs. Carlisle, who's like this famous miniaturist, you know, whatever.
Yeah, she collects all like the best.
All of the best. She's just known in this world that Zara lives in. And she's like, you could be my +1 for the gala if you do this Bramble dating thing.
Yeah.
You know,
because big old carrot to dangle in front of her.
Right. And the other thing is that her dad wants his SAG card, but he has to be on television in order to. He has some experience on television in order to get a SAG card. So this would allow him in front of the for the Bramble interviews to actually, you know, meet that requirement. So she's like, fine, whatever. But y'all. So while she's drunk on tequila, she types in her Bramble profile description.
It's the best fucking thing ever.
Yes.
I love it.
You just have to listen.
Yeah, read it.
Here we go. Assholes need not apply. I don't believe fairy tales of happily ever after, but are a few not self-made orgasms with a guy who makes my heart race, and isn't a total asshole really just a pipe dream? I work hard and hardly play. Now I'm ready for a little, really a lot of fun with a kind of guy who isn't a total lost cause and can clear out the cobwebs in my vagina. Too honest, too bad. Life is too short for jerks who don't know their way around a lady garden. Forget being Miss Right. I just want to be Miss Right for 5 dates.
Holy shit, yes. And then whenever you think about the fact that Brittany Stuckey read this and was just like, winner.
This is her. This is the one for my son.
I love it.
Yes. It's so funny.
Great.
Because she's so ballsy, and I can see why Britt would be
I honestly wish that Britt and Zara had a scene where they like discussed it, and Britt would just be like, fuck yes, girl power to you. Like, honestly,
exactly, girl power.
I would have loved it. I would have fucking loved it. But anyway.
It was awesome. So Zara heads to the cafe for her first date with her Bramble match, and one of Jessen's pet peeves makes an appearance. I totally laughed. I totally cracked up.
Like I said, if I like the overall story, I'm willing to overlook a couple pet peeves.
Right.
I'm willing to overlook that Zara trips
and falls into his arms.
Yes.
The first time she meets him.
She does.
So, yeah.
We're going to pretend it didn't happen.
Yes. But to give Zara some credit, she was wearing high heels, and she has no problem wearing high heels, but she, I don't know, got derailed by tourists and stepped on a grate and like scuffed it or hurt it or something with the heels. So
I'm staying silent on it,
but so anyway, she's flustered, and so that happens. So Zara is hangry when she arrives, and
I can relate.
and feisty upon first falling into Caleb's arms, which I like, because when you aren't worried about making a good first impression, you get the person's real personality, and we see that for sure.
Yeah,
between them
I
right
really
away.
do like it. Like, she's not there to impress him at all.
Right.
She actually has her guard like way up. Like, let's see how this goes.
Yeah. Can I share a personal experience?
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
Here? So speaking of which, when Kevin and I, the first time we ever met, my husband and I, we were set up to meet at the Chimes, in Baton Rouge, after I had a shift at Chili's, and I used to wait tables at Chili's. So I was fucking starving when I got there. The first time I meet him, and you know how, you're meeting a guy, and it was already new. My friends were like trying to set me up with him or whatever. But as soon as we sat down, the waitress came. I said, excuse me, I would like a large etouffee, crawfish etouffee. I got a large crawfish etouffee, a salad, extra bread, like all this food. And Kevin said all he could think was, this is the girl for me. Like, he told me much later, he's like, I knew I was going to fall in love with you when I saw you order your food.
I really do like it. And not only is she hangry and just wants all the carbs, which I'm like, fuck yes.
Yes. Thank you.
But she's also not worried about impressing him at all. And I feel like it's easier to establish a genuine connection with a person whenever you're not worried about, like, should I say this? Does it make me this? Like, you second guess yourself. And she's not doing that at all. They're both laying all of their cards on the table.
Exactly. This is a fake relationship, so let's just be ourselves.
Exactly.
Because it doesn't matter if we impress each other or not.
And she also doesn't know that Caleb hasn't actually read her profile, so she's like, oh, well, he knows what's up, because I'm very clear on my profile.
Yeah, he knows exactly what's going on, right? So when revealing their professions, Caleb confesses the reason why he, a star hockey player, is on a dating app controlled by his mom. He tells,
I like that it's very upfront.
Me too. It wasn't like this hidden secret, dark secret. And you and I both like that. We don't like these miscommunications or deceit on
something that could be easily cleared up.
Exactly.
And I'm glad that it was easily cleared up.
And it's not like she couldn't have found it out, so there was no reason to hide it. But he was very upfront and honest about it. And so that made me really love Caleb all the more right away. So both are completely fine, that they both don't really want to date, and that this is going to be a fake relationship, or, for 5 dates. And they say, this is a temporary alliance for 5 dates. They did say possibly sex.
She's like, we'll see how this goes.
We'll see. I don't know. But 5 dates and then done. Yeah, that was the agreement. That's it. So Zara eats all the carbs for lunch, of course. I love her whole discussion about mashed potatoes. Okay?
Oh my God, it's great. And Caleb's egging her on, acting like he doesn't appreciate potatoes.
Mashed potatoes aren't that great. Like, he gets like his grilled vegetables,
but that's because the nutritionist, they're supposed to follow a certain thing. It's
he's
not
in
that
a
he doesn't
preseason
like
diet.
All the good food.
Yes,
he's just trying to be the best hockey player that he can be. But he knows that it annoys Zara, so he keeps
picking at her.
Yeah,
in her head, she's like, "Oh yeah, we would never get along."
He doesn't like mashed potatoes.
He hates mashed potatoes. There's
no.
something wrong with him.
I relate to that so hard.
Yeah, like,
I really
seriously. And she's like, "What is wrong with you?" As per the agreement with the Ice Knights PR and Bramble, Caleb and Zara are interviewed on a morning TV segment about their date. And so this is when, this was your showdown, where we see, it was
great.
Freaking hilarious.
It is.
But we also get a sense of there's like some anxiety going on between the hostess of the host of the show calls Caleb.
She definitely has an agenda. Yeah.
So she basically, we find out that her sister had dated or slept with one of the hockey players and that was in that little group.
Yeah, and be like,
and was insulted, you know.
Be like, it might have been a mutual, this goes nowhere, but it's also not fun to hear, like, that's what you think of these people who we think we have a mutual understanding, but then it turns out that y'all just make fun of everybody behind their backs, like.
And I really loved this little lesson that Avery Flynn was sort of teaching the world out there about, you know, locker room talk. It may be fun between you guys, but you were talking about somebody's sister.
Yeah, like put it in, you know, put it in perspective of somebody, if a girl that you knew was being treated like this and found out that somebody else was talking about
I'm like,
her.
what if a girl was talking about you? Like, yeah, he's such a slut, and like, I just, you know, wanted to use him and get away from him.
Bang and be like, bye.
Yeah, I don't even know his name. You know, I mean,
it's not fun. Even whenever it is mutually agreed upon that this is not a relationship, this is only for tonight. You
can enjoy each other and respect each other,
mm-hmm,
right?
Exactly.
Okay, so I
do
did like
it,
that.
and I do like how Caleb isn't like running away from it, and he apologizes on like the behalf of the team.
He does.
And stuff like that.
Right
and
away.
He honestly is affected by it. He's very mad at himself for not saying anything, and he does try to make up for it throughout the novel.
Yeah. Of course, my favorite part of the interview is when Zara's dad is plugging all the local businesses. And, you know, we already talked about that, but it's just so funny. And really.
And Caleb's mom's just like so sarcastic with it. And like, you sure you don't want to talk about this?
I know. He's like, you sure you don't want to mention this? Does she have like a dentist you need to discuss or something like that? It was so funny.
Perfect. And the sparring was great.
It was great. And I just thought it really loosened the tension between Zara and Caleb. Just they kind of
made it less awkward.
It did. It was really funny.
Because the spotlight was on their parents. I honestly thought that something was going to go on with the parents.
I did too.
I really did.
I was kind of waiting for that.
I was
too.
like, do we sense a connection
attract,
between?
So
yes, I swear to God. I was like, something's going on.
Yeah.
So anyway, date 2 is at the adventure place, which is like an obstacle course where the couples have to rly on like teamwork and stuff. Good teamwork building thing. I do too. I actually like doing like obstacle course stuff like this.
Me too. I thought it was fun.
But I love how Caleb and Zara are both being super competitive about beating the best time. And they actually come in last like the whole time.
It's so funny.
It is. I just like the scene. It's really cool. But we do get a heart-wrenching scene where Caleb struggles to read the rules. It's like displayed right next to the next obstacle. Like they made it through one part and it's like, oh, this is how we do it. And he's internally like in distress.
Yes, he is. He's having anxiety.
But Zara has no idea that he has dyslexia, and she just like, it just looks like he's like concentrating, and maybe she kind of thinks like, oh, it's maybe something I said or whatever, like something.
Yeah.
So it creates a little bit of tension between them, like in not knowing, and it's like, when is she gonna find out? Like, poor Caleb.
I know.
He's
always stressing about this
baby.
like his dark secret, you know, that he's ashamed of.
But I really do like the obstacle course because it presents like this close proximity and sexual tension. Like whenever they have to swing on the rope,
swing on the rope at the same time,
and they kind of almost kiss at one point.
Yeah.
So we definitely know that there's actually some good physical attraction,
and there's a lot of playfulness, like when they fall down on the net together, and it's just cute.
Yes, it is cute. So that night, Caleb and Zara text each other, and we're one step closer to some more sexy time between these two. It's just like, okay, so we kind of got closer. This is why I like proximity, because that adventure place, it like kind of broke the seal on like, ooh, sexual attractions happening. It opened the doorway for Caleb to be like, well, let me text this girl I like hanging out with her. And texting eventually turns into like FaceTiming and talking every night whenever he's not there and he's on away games. So it's like, yes, we needed that to happen. We needed them to be like forced with their physical attraction, like right up in their face.
Agreed.
So Caleb admits that he doesn't like the interview because everyone is so focused, like going on the interviews because everyone's so focused on him, and he doesn't like the attention, and that it's different on the ice. And we talked about it. It's like kind of almost like PTSD from his dyslexia and he had like
nightmare experiences in middle school because of his dyslexia and all of that.
That's horrible.
Yes.
So one of the reasons why I let the tripping on the air thing not bother me is because it also happens to Caleb in the next morning interview. And he lands in Zara's lap like he's getting ready to be spanked. And I was just like, fair play. I was like, fair play. We have the hero trip. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. So, it would have been awesome if she did smack his ass right.
It would have been. I was waiting for her to do it, honestly. It would have been a great TV segment. But anyway,
Lord.
we didn't get that. It's in my head.
It's funny.
But her dad plugs businesses again, and Zara thinks thinks that they could make it a drinking game, like a shot for every business.
Every
that
business
he
my dad
promotes.
plugs.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. And Caleb goes on a preseason hockey road trip after the second interview, after their second date, and the texting turned into FaceTime. And we have like another hint at his dyslexia that I honestly never noticed until he disclosed it to Zara.
Yes.
Because the texting bothers his eyes.
Right.
And that's
he
why
has to
he's the
focus
one
so
who
hard.
initiates FaceTime because it's easier to have a conversation for him. I didn't fucking make that connection until she was like, makes sense now.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah.
what? Okay.
Yeah,
Anyway,
good.
my heart just pours out to him, honestly.
I know.
So the next date is at a cooking class. And I really like those because my cousin went on some really cool ones whenever she used to live in Australia. And this kind of date would totally be my jam. I love cooking. I want to like learn how to do new things, kind of be silly, have a good meal. So I don't know. I was into the cooking class as a date thing.
I thought that was very cute.
Yeah, I liked
Super
it.
cute.
I liked it.
And I liked that they were eating like noodles and pho and stuff. It was like delicious. I got hungry.
Would it make you hungry?
Yes. I was like, I need some pho now. Okay. So Caleb obviously doesn't want the date to end, and he invites himself to Zara's apartment to watch Law and Order, which ends up sort of becoming their thing.
Yeah, it's their thing that they watch. He complains about it, but that's what she likes to watch.
because he kind of finds like, so what do you normally do? She's like, I watch Law and Order. Like,
but yeah, I really like how like in person, it's all like, oh, I want to watch Law and Order with you, and it's like the most obvious example of Netflix and chill out there.
Netflix and chill. What do you mean?
You don't know what Netflix and chill is?
No. Am I so
God.
old? Like, what is this?
It's just our generation thing, I guess. Okay, so Netflix and chill is just like a thing that happens. It's like whenever a guy says like, oh, hey, you want to come over to my house and come watch Netflix? It's a euphemism to we're banging tonight.
What?
So, yeah. So it's just kind of really funny.
This is so new to me.
Because Zara doesn't have cable or anything, so they're technically watching some sort of streaming channel.
Right.
And, you know, he's just like, well, let me come to your apartment and we can watch Law and Order. And it's just like, we all know where this is going.
Oh, my God. Okay, yeah.
So it does help him get
so
like to the
old.
next level. But seriously, I mean, Caleb does fall asleep on the couch. So they don't like immediately do anything.
Right.
But it turns into something in the morning.
Sure does. All right. So they do Netflix and, well, not actually Netflix and chill, but they do fall asleep
later.
And then I love how assertive Zara is.
Like whenever their morning hormones are getting at
yes.
it. And she is just like, okay, this is happening.
Let's just go with it. Yeah, I loved I guess for something I was expecting her to like stop him or something, like, oh no, this is fake dating or whatever, but she's totally open and I'm like, yes.
Well, I think the whole thing was, it's like, I'm not looking for anything more, but possible sex is on the table. And this is the point where she's like, I'm down for sex.
Yes.
We have a physical connection. But I also like how she's just like, I want you to start here and kiss here and go here. Oh my God, yes. And I'm just like, you know what?
She shows
Don't
them.
be afraid. Don't be afraid to show them what you like.
That's
I
right.
like that.
Exactly.
I like that.
And he's like, yes, ma'am. And he keeps going. So Caleb takes a trip down under, which we all love.
We love
Jessen
it down
are
here.
very pro cunnilingus.
Yeah, definitely.
So, anyway, so
like every mention of blowjob that I've read in the past, like I want a mention of cunnilingus now.
Exactly. They have to be equal play, guys.
Yeah, definitely.
Totally. And I loved, oh my God, when she talked about her shy clit.
Oh my
I
God, I
almost
died. I fucking died. She's like, I have the shyest
laughing.
clit ever.
Because she talks about how she's not been able to orgasm with a guy. Like she can totally get herself off.
Self-orgasm's
Yes.
fine.
But she's not been able to do it with a guy. Okay.
She's too in her head.
Caleb has a very talented tongue, guys.
Hell yeah, he
does.
does.
And he breaks that little seal like really fast. We have full sexual penetration is saved though for another day because Caleb has practice to get to, but he's like so happy. He's just like gotten her off and made her happy. And
He's pumped. He's feeling, he doesn't know that she has a shy clit yet.
Yes.
That's like, it's something like earth shattering for her.
I know.
But he's still pumped that yes, it's happening. You know, next level baby.
Yes. So now Zara is stressing about her obvious connection with Caleb, on top of which pieces to showcase for the charity gala she's still working on for Mrs. Carlisle's attention. So she's like got all this sort of stress. She's like, I need to be focused on my work.
Perfectionist.
Yes, I need to be
like,
focused on my work.
Good enough?
This is a big deal for her to get her stuff in front of Mrs. Carlisle's eyes, and she doesn't want anything distracting her. And he wasn't supposed to be a distraction. This was supposed to just be a fake date.
And
fun
she's thinking
thing.
about him a
Right.
lot.
She is thinking about him a lot. Okay. Caleb's coach is impressed by how well the Bramble thing is going and even offers him an out not to continue it. He's like, I think you've done enough. And he's like, no, I want to continue it.
And of course he makes it sound like he's doing it like,
I'm doing it for the team. I'm taking one for the team.
I need to see it through to like really, drive it home. But it's Zara.
Oh no.
There's something about that girl.
It's Zara. So back in Harbor City, Caleb is cock-blocked by the good old period because she is on her period. Nice.
I strangely love these scenes. Like whenever the hero takes care of a PMSing heroine, like I like these scenes. I don't know why. It shows like a sense of care. Like, because, there's some guys out there that just don't want to hear about it and don't want to deal with it. And it's just kind of like, okay, let's just go around it. But he's so cute. He goes buy her wine and food and all
he's like,
that.
What do you need?
Just, like,
and yes.
I don't know. Just
indulge
like a
her a little
caring
bit.
Hero.
Exactly.
I'm down for that scene.
But that's so Caleb. That's why I really love him.
Yeah.
So Zara confesses about her shy clit and her inability, to have orgasms with a guy, except she did. And so Caleb is like, oh man,
I'm a rock star.
I am the man. Okay. He's super smug and super proud of himself. And he's like so ready to like show her again.
He's like, I mean, we could definitely do it again. Like you want to make sure that this wasn't a fluke?
Let's make sure it's not just a fluke. Like let's do this.
Yeah.
But he does confess about his dyslexia and tells the story about
opening up to each other about stuff that they really don't like.
So these are real feelings. These are real things. And bonding moment where he tells her about this horrible teacher, making him read out loud in class, and that's why he's so like terrified of audiences and all of that.
And people watching him,
right?
And noticing maybe he's, acting strangely because he can't read. I'm just like, kills me.
Yeah, it just blows his self-confidence, and
baby.
And he talks about how on the ice rink it doesn't matter because he's focused on the game.
Yeah.
So but this leads to an insightful observation from Zara. She's like, that explains your viral video. You're still trying to make sure no one sees you as that outsider standing in front of class.
Right, exactly. Which I like this insight because it doesn't excuse
the behavior.
Caleb, the behavior, but Caleb wasn't comfortable totally with the talk that was happening anyway.
Right. But
he didn't want to go against the flow because he doesn't want to be seen as an outsider or whatever. So, and it wasn't like horrible like talk because I've read other books where like guys are like really
even
horrible
worse.
to girls. But I do like that it's true. And he would have stood up for it. But he doesn't like to be the person causing any conflict.
Yeah. And I like that he didn't even realize this until Zara said it. And he's like, like, you're right. You're totally right.
Mm-hmm.
So we do get Caleb experiences some ribbing from his teammates about Zara and his interviews. Oh my God.
They're like getting on his case so bad. Be like, your girlfriend.
Your little red firecracker and calling her all these things.
Whenever you're done with her.
I'll take her. And he's like, what? And he gets all defensive. And so now we see his like protective, side is coming out like, don't even talk about her.
Exactly.
And so I love that part, that scene we get where Caleb has a chance to shut down more locker room talk about her. And he's just like, don't even,
Yeah. And I like the fact that he's put in another situation where the talk is not like extremely unforgivable. It's just like, why do we have to talk like that? Like, let's not, you're being immature assholes. Like, let's shut it up.
And then the guys,
I like it.
Yeah. And then the guy's like, yeah, we knew you liked her. Yeah. Like we found out they were really just dogging him.
Exactly. So Caleb endearingly is obsessing over what to text Zara to sound casual and not lame or corny.
So cute.
And I relate to this like super, like a lot. Whenever you're actually in like with a person, and you're very worried about the impression that you're making, which differs a lot from their first meeting. Their first meeting, it was like no holds barred, whatever. Let's lay all my cards on the table. But now he's like,
but now they're into
I can't
each
say
other.
that. Yeah, exactly. So now they're overthinking things, and it's great because it's so cute and so real. But there's more FaceTime, and it turns into some sexy flirting.
Yep.
And this is a hot scene, and I don't always like phone sex or video chat sex, but I think that this was actually well done. Like I was like, "Ooh, this is hot."
That was my showdown.
Like I loved in like another FaceTime scene where they really get like some down and dirty, and he sends like a picture and you can like see the outline of his heart on, and she sends a picture of like, I thought this was really actually hot because I thought maybe she's gonna send like a boob pic, but she sends a picture of like her panties just wrapped around her ankles.
Yes.
Which I was just like that shot, and I was like, oh, I was like, that's interesting.
I thought that was super sexy.
Caleb thought it was hot too.
Yeah, he had to take care of that.
Yeah. So their fourth date is at a dog park where they take Zara's Great Dane Anchovy and they try to teach him basic commands because he's not the most trainable dog.
He's not.
He's
so bad.
He's just kind of a huge mess.
Oh my gosh.
He's everywhere. But after a scorching kiss at the end of that date, Zara has to go and break my damn heart by telling Caleb that Bramble hasn't really been that bad and she might want to try it again after they finish their fake dating.
Yes. She tells him this.
Why would you tell him?
She's
literally covering for the fact that she is actually interested.
Right.
But Zara, I would say, especially on this point of the story, Caleb is much more on board for, I'm going to find a way to make this work. Like I'm very interested in Zara and possibly pursuing a real relationship with her. Right. And Zara's like, it won't work. And she has obstacles like Caleb being away for a very long time during the year. She wants somebody who has like a plan, and she just wants this stability. It's like she's so stuck on having the complete opposite of her father that she's really hurting herself at this point.
She definitely is.
So it's almost like on purpose, and I don't know if it's to remind herself or Caleb. I think it's more to remind herself. Yeah, exactly. And Caleb is so obviously hurt because he has definitely caught the feels, and he's thinking it's pretty one-sided at this point.
He's like, well, I guess I know where I stand now.
Yeah,
and
it broke my fucking heart.
Yes.
So secretly, Zara's only putting up a good front because she is also strangely dreading the end of their agreement. She does talk about this, so that's why we know. I mean, she's pretending at this point. And you can tell in their at-home interview, because they do one where it's just like them after the date at home using their phones to do an interview. They're extremely comfortable around each other, and at the very least are adorably affectionate. Like in the video, like they're joking around with each other. And you only get that whenever it's like there's a genuine connection. But they're both trying to hide how much they care at this point. And it's just like, but kiss.
Stop it.
So especially Zara, because she doesn't think that dating a hockey player who travels is stable, so she's self-sabotaging. And they finally get it on, though.
Nice.
It was hot. I have to say, Avery Flynn, kudos to you because it was a very hot sex scene.
Thank you.
And I feel like it actually really happens at a meaningful point because they're approaching the last date and they're both dreading it. Both of them are like, I really don't want to schedule the last date. And I feel like it kind of makes it a little bit more poignant. It's almost like we need to live while we can because they think it's about to be over. And I feel like a lot more of their feelings come across whenever they're in the moment and all this passion just like flying around. And they needed that because it is kind of a kick in the butt after, because once you go there with somebody that you're obviously half in love with already, it's really hard to let them go at that point once you share that connection. So I think that the point that them actually having sex came at a good time.
I agree. So now they're both, this is what's hilarious, they're now both ignoring the Bramble reminders to schedule the fifth and final date. Yeah. Because that is supposed to be the ending of their dating relationship, right?
That was their rule.
So the fact that they're both ignoring it definitely screams like they're falling in love with each other, right?
Yeah.
So she even comes to the realization that she's in love with Caleb after Jim was prying, and her not feeling quite right with Caleb's texts, because he hasn't answered her in a few days. Okay, but we find out that it's because his phone broke. So it's something simple.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's not answering, it's getting her on edge.
She's glum. She's like very glum. He's away. They haven't been talking. And she just says, she's like doing her work, doing her normal routine. That's never ever been a problem before, but she just kind of feels out of sorts. And it's because of Caleb. And so it's like, that realization, she literally realizes that she is actually in love with him, because she, in her internal thought, she's like, yeah, well, I'm in love with him. And she's like, wait, what?
Yeah. She's like, wait, no.
It catches her off guard.
I know. So then we get Caleb's point of view and find out he is definitely head over heels for her as well. And he's trying to make a plan to win Zara over to the idea of dating beyond their final Bramble 5th date, which, it all goes back to the rules they preset that they weren't going beyond this date.
And Caleb's definitely going to have to be the one to do the pushing, because Zara's the one with the issues with like commitment to the wrong person.
Definitely. Yeah. And she's also the one who said, oh, yeah, I might use this Bramble date thing later.
Exactly.
Even though we've gone beyond that and they've had sex and we know they're both having the feels for each other. It's like, it's going to be up to him.
Yes.
Okay. So his plan to attend the gala with some teammates to support Zara because Mrs. Carlisle's sons, the famous Mrs. Carlisle, are huge Ice Night fans. And he's like, oh, well, that'll be a good way for me to kind of, butter up with Zara. Be supportive.
If she needs like a helping hand, if it's not going well, maybe I can do
help.
something.
Yes, exactly. So when he is leaving the Carlisle building, he overhears Mrs. Carlisle herself getting ready to leave for the airport to travel to Italy. Yeah. And so he steps in. He's like, hi. Wait a second, you're not going to the gala? You don't know me, but you're not going to the gala. And so he immediately is like, I have to do something. I have to help Zara, because if she's not going to be there, this is the whole thing he knows Zara's been working up to with her very cool like miniature scene she's been working on, which I love, is like authors reading classics and stuff, which was so cute. And so he's like, he convinces her to come and see Zara's work at her apartment, right?
Yeah.
So she is charmed by his shameless praise of Zara and actually agrees. He's like, okay, I'll go and visit her at the studio apartment.
Go see what she's made of.
I know.
Let me see.
Exactly. So Zero has zero appropriate miniatures to show at her house because everything is already set up at the gala.
Go back up.
Oh, did I miss one?
The only thing wrong with this situation.
Oh, okay. The only thing wrong with the situation is that Caleb strangely doesn't warn Zara that they are coming so that she can prepare. Like, I was waiting for him to text her or something and he didn't. Yeah. So this is like a shocker. It's like showing up the doorstep with, like, for me, it'd be like if somebody brought Nalini Singh to my doorstep. Yeah. And I would like fucking die. Like, give me some warning.
And I totally agree with that. It's like an easy fix that, like, Caleb, you should have warned the girl that you're coming with her fucking idol.
Yeah, her idol.
But of course, this would mean that the ensuing drama wouldn't happen.
Right.
So
because he's only trying to be helpful.
So we're going to ignore that easy fix.
Right. I wish she had. But so what happens, of course, is that she's taken aback completely. Zara is. And she has nothing there to show Mrs. Carlisle because everything is at the gala, right? Yeah. She has like something she made way back when in her early days. And he's like, look at
these
new
commissions that she's really not like super
not
exciting.
They're
like 30 antelopes.
And Mrs. Carlisle's like, oh, that's lovely. And then Zara's like, yeah, I know what that means. That means this is shit,
Yeah.
Basically. And so Ms. Carlisle basically leaves. She's like, oh, well, I'm sorry I missed your work. Maybe next year. And then leaves. Okay. And Zara is so upset. She's like, why did you do that? Why did you bring her here? It's just so sad because Caleb had the best of intentions.
He did.
But Zara can't see past the humiliation she's just experienced.
Yeah.
Which, I get that,
Yeah. I understand why she would be so upset. But it leads to an unfortunate scene.
Yeah, and I love this part not love this part. This part was heartbreaking where she says, you think you can just walk in here and tell me what to do just like your mom or your coach does to you? If there's anyone in your life who doesn't tell you what to do, or is there a decision you can make for yourself that doesn't fuck something up? This gouged me.
It was a below the belt hit. Like, she even says, like, can't you read the room? And she's like, wait, hold on. I didn't mean it like that. And he's like, like,
thanks for mentioning my lack of reading a room.
She was lashing out. She was.
She needed somebody to.
We get it.
She was freaking out, and so she says some really hurtful things, and basically it ends in fuck you and fuck you, bye. And he storms out.
Yeah.
So
sad.
So
it's okay though because Caleb is wonderful.
Yes.
Caleb, being the wonderful man that he is and I love, doesn't let that gut punch keep him down for long. Yes, he's upset. He's not really doing well on his games and stuff, but he realizes why Zara reacted that way and is still determined to make it work between them. He realizes that. He's like, I can't live without her. this is my one.
Right.
And you know what? He's an understanding person. He gets why she was upset.
It's like, okay, she freaked out. I got it.
And he and his mom have a heart-to-heart. And she's like, what happened? And he tells her the whole thing, and she pumps him up and stuff like that. And we also get a cool scene where we learn that Brittany Stuckey isn't actually the complete and total hard ass that she seems to be. Because in the beginning, I really didn't quite mesh well with the mom. Like, I loved her by the end. And I didn't quite mesh with her, like, because it seemed like she was the type of parent to disregard her child's disability and just kind of like, oh, well, the more you practice, the better you'll get at it. And it's just not a thing. Yeah. And whenever she talks about how she was the reason why that teacher who kept making Caleb stand up and read aloud to the class, she was the reason why he retired. And I'm like, what kind of pull you got, girl? I'm like, what you do?
Britt the ball buster is scary.
Yeah, Britt the ball buster is scary. So then Zara gets an intervention from Gemma because she's moping because she knows she fucked up. She knows, and she said, she's like, I had a meltdown.
Yes.
Like, forgive me.
Yes.
We all do.
Yes.
I get you, Zara. And her dad and Gemma come over, and actually, Gemma leaves to go take Anchovy on a walk, and Dad's just there. And they also have a heart-to-heart. And I'll honestly say that this conversation between them didn't quite work for me just because I didn't like the excuse for his behavior very much. Yeah. And I would have actually preferred if they had like a conversation if she opened up to her father earlier on in the novel, just being like, Dad, you know, it makes it hard for me to like want to have anything outside of work because I'm always scared that if I fail, I won't have a roof over my head or groceries. Like it is kind of scarring from my childhood. And I would have preferred if her dad just decided like, yeah, that was really wrong of me, and I'm going to commit to like this acting gig and work harder to be like a stable father figure for you. I would have preferred it that way.
Instead, he had said, like a lot of the things he did was trying to smile and bring Zara's her out. And
it just didn't quite mesh with me. And
I get that.
But I really liked the heart to heart between Caleb and his mom. So I just kind of like, okay, let's move on.
we'll allow it. Let's keep moving on.
And so Zara realized that she fucked up with Caleb, and she's actually hoping,
I like that she does realize her mistake.
Yeah, they both are understanding people. They're not the type of people to just be like, fuck it, we're done. I'm never forgiving you ever.
Yeah, I'm in love with you, but fuck this.
Yeah.
You know?
And so she's hoping that Caleb's going to be at the gala since the Ice Knights are sponsors. So Gemma says. So she's like, oh, my chance to apologize to him and be like I need you. Like, I love you, you know? And so she arrives, and guess who is fucking there? Helen freaking Carlisle. She's there to greet her. She's like, oh, hello, darling. What are you looking for? And Miss Carlisle actually canceled her plans for Italy so that she could bid on Zara's designs.
I love that because it means that Caleb's like fuck up actually served her purpose.
It really did.
Because it kept her staying. Yeah, you know, if he had not done that, she wouldn't be there.
What Zara missed, she was assuming that Miss Carlisle didn't really like her stuff. But whenever Miss Carlisle was actually flipping through her sketches, the stuff that she actually didn't have, she was extremely impressed. And she decided that the trip to Italy needed to be postponed because she could not let her rival, who also collects miniatures, get any of Zara's designs.
I did love that.
And so I was like, what? Yes, great. I'm like, you need the validation. I'm glad that she was there. I'm glad that she had like her happily ever after with her work and stuff like that. But of course, she's really concerned about Caleb at this point.
Right.
She's like, this is so fine and all, but where's Caleb? So Caleb's at the gala, and these two finally get on the same page about their feelings. And I was just like, thank you. It's just like a sigh of relief. And Caleb says he never wants to go on that 5th date with her
that was cute.
because he doesn't want their relationship to ever end. I loved it. I liked how that kind of tied in. Like, I did too. Let's never go on a 5th date ever again. We're never going on the 5th date. And I was like, Sha, you two so cute. So they have a cute little epilogue. It's 3 years later, and they're being interviewed. The same TV host that at first was like very anti-Caleb, and she's just like excited, like y'all still together, and it looks like it's going well. They have a little toddler. She's so cute. It's adorable. Yes. It's like a good happy ending that's well-rounded. So I was satisfied with this book.
I was too. I thought the ending was very sweet and cute. I just want to say also, okay, so first off, I wanted to also say that I did love this book. It is my favorite Avery Flynn book I've read so far, for sure.
And I also have a really big heart for like hockey things. So like keep up with some hockey things.
Definitely.
I know that Tomboy was also hockey. You actually get some cameos from her other books in this book. We didn't talk at all about that,
and
but
also,
it is
if y'all
in there.
ever get a chance to meet Avery at a book con or something, she is so nice. Like, she's a pub sister with Entangled with me, but we hung out a little bit at RT in Atlanta, and she's just so fun in real life and just a great person.
I love whenever you can like approach an author in real life and it's just like, you're a normal person and I really like you.
You're cool and I like you. So shout outs to Avery.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Great job on this new release.
I'm excited to see what else is going to come after this one.
Harbor City has a lot more romances to go.
Yeah,
so
I'm excited. I'm
very
down
cute
for it. Woohoo!
Awesome. Okay, you guys, we hope that you enjoyed today's episode and look forward to the next one where we'll be discussing Dating-ish by Penny Reed.
Thanks so much for listening.
This goes out to all the fangirls.
Life's better with a little HEA.